Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News package for today, Friday, 28th December 2018. In our lead stories, nationally, NEMA cautions against circulation regarding imminent weather in the Federation, and Nivision Junior Calypso King cups Sugar Mass 47 Teenage Junior Calypso crown. Regionally, new twist in U.S. money laundering case against former Barbados government minister. Internationally, tear gas use as Sudan protests continue. And in sports, India build up third test lead in Melbourne. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is reminding individuals and residents that the competent authority for weather in St. Kitts and Nevis is the St. Kitts Met Services, which can be reached by calling 465-2749. The reminder comes following calls by persons with regard to a report that is currently in circulation regarding imminent weather in the Federation. A statement from NEMA indicates that when a weather bulletin is issued, it is produced using a forecast by Antigua and Barbuda Met Services and disseminated to the St. Kitts Met Services and NEMA. In order to make the technical information included in the bulletin user-friendly, the NEMA may include relevant preparedness and preventative steps to be taken by the public in relation to the impact. It says that if there is an adverse weather condition or alert, the information would be shared with the public by the Antigua and Barbuda Met Services, St. Kitts Met Services, the NEMA, or all three agencies in order to protect residents and communities from hazardous conditions or impact. NEMA is reminding all consumers to be aware of false or malicious posts emanating from incompetent bloggers or persons with ulterior motives who cannot be controlled or reprimanded by the Disaster Management Agency. If in doubt about any impending hazard or storm-related activity that might affect St. Kitts and Nevis, please remember to call the Met Office at 465-2749 first. They are the local competent authority with a remit of interpreting forecasts and disseminating them. Teron Invincible Webb is the Sugar Mass 47 Junior Calypso King. He amassed a total of 422 points with his song Change the Thinking to claim the crown. King Akido Nisbet was second runner-up singing Shoulda Blow. He received a total of 376 points. Tyreek Simply Mighty Jeffers singing the song Children Getting Children cup the second runner-up position with a total of 360 points. The third runner-up spot went to Mighty J, whose real name is Marquise Washington, who got a total tally of 347 points with his song Monkey vs. Man. The event was held on Wednesday, 26 December at the Sugar Mill. Sweet Tea Tiana Warner has been crowned Junior Calypso Queen in the Sugar Mass 47 Junior Calypso competition with her song titled Train Up Your Child. The event was held on Wednesday, 26 December at the Sugar Mill. She amassed a total of 390 points to beat her closest rival, first runner-up Shante Hendrickson, who amassed a total of 386 points for her song entitled A Sister's Plight. Second runner-up position went to Devonique singing Divi Libert, gaining a total of 334 points with her song Law and Order, while Erastus Rashawn Fifield cupped the third runner-up spot with a total of 326 points for performing the song Download It. Premier of Nevis Honorable Mark Brantley provided an update on the condition of Corporal Cleon Michael, who was shot while executing his duty as a police officer. Officer Michael was shot on Christmas Day while trying to prevent an attempted robbery at Hamilton in Nevis as he accompanied a businessman to his home after an evening of sales on Christmas Eve. While speaking in the Nevis Island Assembly today, Friday, 28 December 2018, the Minister with responsibility for national security on Nevis said the government will not stand for these senseless acts of violence.
This government has had a very serious approach to crime and the fight against crime. But also, Mr. President, whenever it is that those who are bent on criminality seek to attack the members of the Royal St. Kitts and Nevis Police Force, the members of law enforcement and our security forces, we must condemn in especially harsh terms those efforts in that regard. I have myself attended the hospital to see Corporal Michael. He appears to be in good spirits, and it doesn't appear that the wound is life-threatening. I have also been in close contact with the High Command here in Nevis and commend them on their quick work, because I'm told that they have certain suspects.
Premier of Nevis, Honorable Mark Brantley. Officials from various agencies of the government will be working closely with individuals enrolled in the Poverty Alleviation Program, PAP, to ensure that their economic condition is improved and the quality of life of their household is enhanced. The PAP was officially launched on Monday, December 24, 2018, and provides households earning less than $3,000 per month with a monthly stipend of $500. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Community Development, Gender Affairs and Social Services, Mrs. Janelle Lewis Tafari, said the case management also involves helping persons to find jobs where applicable so that they will be in a better position to support their family. The Permanent Secretary urged beneficiaries to be open and honest with their case officers and to give their full cooperation. The PAP is funded from the government treasury, and Mrs. Lewis Tafari stressed that all parties involved share a burden of responsibility to ensure that the $500 stipend is used to uplift the lives of citizens and residents in a wholesome way. Finally, Minister of Tourism Honorable Lindsey Grant has disclosed that an agreement was signed between the Team Unity Administration and American Airlines that would see travelers paying as little as US $517 round trip, as opposed to the current fares of US $1,000 to $1,800. Speaking during the 2019 budget debate, Minister Grant said that as of March 2019, persons traveling between St. Kitts and Miami on American Airlines will pay 30% less for airfare. He said concerns have been raised in the public sphere regarding the financing arrangement of such an agreement, with some persons questioning if the government is providing some form of subsidy to American Airlines for its flights into St. Kitts. The minister said, however, that the new administration has not subsidized any carrier servicing the Federation. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
It really is. Come and let the Bank of Nevis Limited improve your quality of life this Christmas. Take an unsecured loan of up to $20,000. Ho, 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 ho. That's not all. Take advantage of our flexible loan term options. It's Christmas and it's time to be merry. Contact us today at 1-869-469-5564 or Facebook, Instagram, or visit our bank today. It's the Bank of Nevis Limited, wishing you Merry Christmas!
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. Out of Barbados, former government minister Donville Innes's legal troubles in the United States have taken a turn in his favor. Online newspaper Barbados Today has reported that its investigations have revealed that the United States Justice Department has withdrawn one of the charges in an upgraded indictment under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act that was brought against him earlier in this year. According to court documents dated December 12, 2018 and obtained by the media house, United States Attorney Richard P. Donegal wrote to Judge Matsumoto, who is presiding over Innes's case, stating that based on the ruling in the recent case, United States versus Hutchinson, the government was withdrawing a superseding indictment which had been brought against the former Barbados Commerce Minister. Last August 24th, in a matter unrelated to Innes's case, the U.S. Court of Appeals had determined that a non-resident foreign national could not be held criminally liable for aiding or abetting or conspiring to violate the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act unless the government could show that the accused acted as an agent of domestic concern or while he or she was physically present in the United States. Legal arguments were that Innes fitted into neither category. The Sustainable Energy Facility for the Eastern Caribbean, SEF Expanded, is designed to reduce the financial, technical, and institutional barriers to geothermal energy development in 5 Eastern Caribbean nations. It will also aid in institutional strengthening and capacity building for those 5 governments. The SEF Expanded program aims to help de-risk geothermal energy projects, making it more likely that geothermal energy development attracts private investment and expertise, leverages other commercial debt resources, and allows for electricity tariffs to reflect an appropriate mix of concessional finance, commercial debt, and equity. A line of credit to the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, will include resources from different donors, which the CDB will make available on demand to meet the financing needs of the 5 participating Eastern Caribbean nations for unlocking geothermal development. High electricity prices in the Eastern Caribbean hinder economic growth and reduce public resources that could be used to fund other government services. In October of 2015, the Inter-America Development Bank, IDB, and the CDB jointly created the Sustainable Energy Facility, a U.S. $71.5 million loan and grant package, drawing on resources from the IDB, the CDB, the Clean Technology Fund, and the Global Environment Facility that has funded renewable energy and institutional capacity projects in 6 Caribbean countries. Finally, news from Dominica. 2 individuals died as a result of a motor vehicle accident in Roseau on Boxing Day Wednesday evening, law enforcement sources have confirmed. A motorcycle with 2 young males on board collided with a taxi minibus TX1092. Emergency officials received the call at 8:16 p.m. The individuals on the motorcycle died at the scene. One of the victims' hand was severed, according to sources. A female was trapped in the front passenger seat of the taxi. She appeared to have sustained serious injuries, but the driver is reported to be okay, according to sources. Still in Dominica, Minister for Trade, Energy and Employment, Ian Douglas, has said that the government is now in a position to begin construction of a geothermal power plant in the Wazoo Valley. Ian Douglas said the project could begin by the third quarter of 2019 as Dominica continues on its path towards becoming a climate-resilient country. If Minister Douglas's announcement materializes, it appears that some 8 years after the geothermal development project started, Dominica could receive its first geothermal power plant. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Sudan security forces have fired tear gas at protesters near the capital, Khartoum, in continuing unrest. Hundreds of people were targeted outside a mosque in Omdurman after activists called for protests to take place after Friday prayers. Demonstrations have also erupted in areas north of Khartoum and other cities including Port Sudan and Atbara. Steve Jackson reports.
The protests began earlier this month over the rising cost of food and fuel, but anger has increasingly become focused on President Omar al-Bashir himself. The cities of Omdurman, Port Sudan, Atbara and the capital Khartoum have all seen demonstrations today. The government says at least 19 people have been killed since the unrest began. President Bashir, who hopes to celebrate 30 years in power in 2019, has succeeded in crushing previous demonstrations with force, notably in 2013. But this latest unrest is more widespread and comes amid a deepening economic crisis.
A roadside blast has killed 2 Vietnamese tourists and injured 12 other people on a bus near the Giza pyramids in Egypt, the Egyptian Ministry of Interior says. A bomb hidden beside a wall went off as the bus carrying 14 Vietnamese tourists was passing, it adds. 2 Egyptians, including the bus driver, are among the injured, according to the ministry. Tourism has long been a mainstay of the country's economy. A partial U.S. government shutdown is likely to continue into next week amid an impasse over funding for President Trump's proposed Mexico border wall, which is estimated at a cost of $5 billion. Both Congress chambers met for just a few minutes on Thursday, but took no steps to end the closure. The House and Senate will now meet again on Monday. Many lawmakers did not return to Washington for the sessions. Whether or not to fund the wall is the issue holding up the passing of a government funding project. Both sides now seem to accept that the dispute will continue into 2019. The funding dispute has left hundreds of thousands of federal employees either on unpaid leave or not knowing when they will get paid. Finally, the United States' oldest known World War II military veteran, who was also thought to be the country's oldest man, has died in Texas at the age of 112. Richard Overton served in an all-black Army unit for 3 years and was involved in combat operations and beach landings in the Pacific during the war. He was honored on Veterans Day in 2013 by President Barack Obama. He credited God for his long life, though he also said whiskey and cigars had played their part. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
With titties
20% on furniture, appliances, electronics, and more with TDC Hire Purchase. Choose from the largest variety of products with quick approval, great service, and excellent prices and payment terms. Play Spin the Wheel and save even more by winning fabulous prices. Save money in your pocket to spend how you want. Everybody wins and saves with TDC Hire Purchase. You must win with TDC. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In cricket, India built up a commanding lead over Australia on day 3 of the third test despite a second innings collapse which saw home seamer Pat Cummins take 4 wickets in 9 balls. India paceman Jasprit Bumrah took 6 wickets in a fiery spell as Australia only made 151 in their reply to India's first inning total of 443 for 7 declared. Cummins helped restrict India to 54 for 5, but they still lead by 346 runs. It means the tourists are well placed for a 2-1 lead in the 4-test series. Summarized score: Australia 151, India 443 for 7 declared, and 54 for 5. In more cricket news, Cameron Bancroft has said David Warner told him to tamper with the ball during the March test between Australia and South Africa, and he agreed because he wanted to fit in and feel valued. Australian opener Bancroft was banned for 9 months after he attempted to manipulate the ball with sandpaper. Speaking to Australian broadcaster Fox News, Bancroft, 26, added, "The decision was based around my values, what I valued at the time, and I valued fitting in. You hope that fitting in earns you respect." In the subsequent inquiry, Cricket Australia found that the then vice-captain Warner had developed a plan to attempt to artificially alter the condition of the ball and instructed a junior player to carry out a plan to take steps to attempt to artificially alter the condition of the ball using sandpaper. Struggling champions Manchester City are suffering a significant dip in form. Following a 2-3 loss to Crystal Palace at the Etihad Stadium, Pep Guardiola's troop were beaten by Leicester City at King Power Stadium in their last league match. That loss marked the first time that Manchester City has lost back-to-back games since 2016 and see them in second place in the EPL on 45 points. The title holders are low on confidence ahead of the trip to Southampton on Saturday, but this has to go down as a must-win game for them. Finally, in local sports, the semi-finals of the Youth and Sports Department's Christmas Cup football tournament were held on Thursday evening, December 27th. Match 1 was scheduled to see the Youths of the Future go up against the Hard Times team. The Youths of the Future did not play in the match as some of them were seen walking around the park during the course of the night, which means the Hard Times made it to the finals by default. The second game of the evening, however, involved Bath United and Cotton Ground Pioneers. Final scores in that match are Bath United 5, Cotton Ground Pioneers 2. This means that for the grand final set for Saturday 29th December, it will be Bath United versus Hard Times at 7 p.m. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy with a 60% or moderate chance of showers. Weather tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy with a 60% or moderate chance of showers. Winds east-northeast at 18 to 28 knots with gusts to 40 knots. Seas peaking near 2.8 to 3.7 meters or 9 to 12 feet. The warning remains in effect for mariners and sea bathers. Seas will remain hazardous through the next 48 hours and mariners should not venture far from port. Sunrise tomorrow is at 6:39 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Friday, 28th December 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. In our lead stories nationally, NEMA cautions against circulation regarding imminent weather in the Federation, and Nivision Junior Calypso King Cups Sugar Mass 47 Teenage Junior Calypso Crown. Regionally, new twist in U.S. money laundering case against former Barbados government minister. Internationally, tear gas used as Sudan protest continues. And in sports, India build up third test lead in Melbourne. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a safe and enjoyable weekend.